Hello computer gamers, this is iAndrew, and as you can see by my match history, I have been playing Kha'Zix and Braum. I wanted to go ahead and make this episode 16 again, about a couple of heroes, just these two, is all we're going to go over, before I forget about them. Actually, Braum he is too strong, honestly. I think we'll probably talk about Kha'Zix first. Okay, Kha'Zix, it's kind of like up and down all the various opinions people have of him. It'll probably be a while before I'm an expert on Kha'Zix, but I know I've tried mastering him before, and it ended very poorly. Like, lots of feeding, lots of flaming, blah blah blah. But this week I didn't do too horrible. Trying to figure out items to go with. I kind of liked the purple weapon, the axe, I guess, whatever that is. It looks like the Dota 2 quelling blade, if you ask me, but whatever. Just because it gave him a lot of extra survivability, because I just felt like I was having trouble surviving in the jungle, and throughout that match, I felt like it also helped keep me alive in some of the fights, kinda, because I could just like smite some minions and stuff. But I ran into a problem with that because I would panic when I'd get low health, especially in the second game, I guess, or I don't know. I would like end up flashing instead of smiting, and that just ended up making me waste my flash and end up dying, and that was no good. But anyways, I've decided that wasn't the way to go about playing him, probably. Now with the blue weapon nerf, I'm not sure if I will still like the blue weapon on him or not. It's kind of hard for him to get in range sometimes, so I really wonder. The red one would be nice because it tracks them, right? So I might start getting the red weapon. But whatever I decide to get, whether it's gray, red, blue, or purple in the end, after the new patch comes out, which is nerfing the blue one, I'm probably almost definitely going to be getting the green enchantment. Unless, of course, I decide maybe I want to get the, what's that item called? It gives damage, movement speed, and tenacity, and even cooldown reduction. Of course, it doesn't give very much damage. But Zephyr, yeah. So I might decide that Zephyr is a good item for him. But for now, I really feel like the way to play him, you need a lot of health. And I want both health and tenacity in one slot. And that's the main reason why I feel like that's the item to get on him. I mean, the enchantment for the jungle is the green enchantment. So I picked that up that game. And then I picked up a tier. Actually, no, I went straight. Oh yeah, a tier I think the first thing I got. Actually, I think before I got the green enchantment, I just got the 10 attack damage and 8% lifesteal item, whatever that's called. Basically equivalent of Morbid Mask in Dota 2. Costs around the same too. Anyway, so yeah, I picked that up. It only cost 800 gold, and then I got the tier. So the tier is only like 720 or something like that. And then I was able to upgrade it to Manamune pretty quickly. And then I picked up this item to help me restore my mana. And eventually the Manamune morphed into whatever that item's called. I believe I picked up the armor item next. Perhaps on the way to that, I ended up grabbing magic penetration boots. Now the reason why I have magic penetration boots, even though I have all this attack damage from items, is because my basic ability deals magic damage. Now my basic ability is triggered by being unseen by enemies. So I probably have a ways to go to master this before I could consider myself, good enough at it that like I could build ability power Kha'Zix. So for now I'm just playing attack damage. But his only source of magic damage being that his basic ability, I figure it's worth it to just get some magic penetration boots because there's not much of anything else that he could really use that would help him, other than maybe armor boots might be nice, I suppose. But I ended up buying an item that gave him armor and health anyway, and also dealt some magic damage. Since I was buying that, it just made sense to get the the magic penetration, because this does magic damage around you, so it'll do some extra damage with the penetration. Yeah. So that's why I did all that. I ended up actually winning this game while forgetting to use my Mercurial Scimitar. I don't think I used it once that game. But yeah, it was an alright game. I do think though that rather than Mercurial Scimitar, my build should include the Maw of Malmortius. Yeah, that's what it's called. In fact, I went ahead and made up a rough item build set, whatever you call it, for Kha'Zix. Yeah, so I actually made 2 of them up, just because the second one may or may not be good, and then, you know, eventually if I play him more and more, I might figure out an ability power build for him. Right now, though, I can tell you, he only has 2 skills that scale on ability power. His first ability and his third, I think. I mean, his basic ability and his third. At least I think that's which ones they are. I know the basic does at any rate. Anyway, they both only scale 50% on your ability power for damage. So that's all. So nothing too significant as far as that's concerned. But you know, of course, your basic ability, depending on how sneaky you are and evasive and elusive, whatever, you could proc it pretty often, I guess. I don't think there doesn't seem to be a cooldown on it. You just have to get out of sight and then get back in. So I can imagine actually that you know, vision could play a really important role in countering Kha'Zix. Now Kha'Zix can upgrade his ultimate. That is to say, he's the only Zerg in the game, which means he evolves his abilities. He can evolve 3 out of 4 of his abilities, is what he does. So upgrade 3 out of 4 of his abilities, depending on whatever you want to call it. If you're a Zerg fan, then I guess you'd probably say you gotta call it evolve, man, not upgrade. What are you going on about? But anyways, whatever. In case you don't know, Zerg is a creature from StarCraft. So yeah, he's basically a Zerg, like a primal Zerg from the world of Xeris. That's what he is. But anyways, he's not really. I'm joking around, but he's very, very, very similar to it, and he might as well be one. So yeah, I'll call him a Zerg forever. Now, what was I talking about? Yeah, if you do upgrade his ultimate, you can use his basic a bit more, because you can activate his ultimate. It's got a relatively long cooldown, about a minute or so. But after you've activated it once, you can activate it again, right? So you can actually activate it twice, which is nice. But so it's not technically charges though. It's more of a do it again and again kind of a thing. All right. But the only you can do actually 3 times if you upgrade it is the point, which by itself is not that great. Like I should say you should never upgrade your ultimate unless you're building ability power on Kha'Zix. If you are, then that's fine. Go ahead and upgrade your ultimate. But otherwise, it's not worth it, I don't think. Yeah. So let's go over the specifics of his abilities. Let's see. Kha'Zix, where the heck is he? There he is. I do kind of wish they made him look more Zerg-like, to be honest, but I guess they did enough. I just don't really like the purple color. Why don't they make him like... I don't know. I guess if they make him look too much like Zerg, then players get pissed off. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so that was his basic Unseen Threat, as I talked about. It does magic damage, his only source of magic damage, and it scales the ability power. The Leap also scales some ability power, and I think it scales with attack damage as well. I think all of his skills, though, it's all bonus attack damage. I could be wrong, but anyways, whatever. So I think, yeah, like all 4 of these abilities scale with, no. Yeah, the ultimate doesn't scale with anything. It just enables his basic, basically. So it turns him invisible is what his ultimate does. So that's pretty cool. It only lasts like a couple seconds, I want to say. I'm not sure exactly how long it lasts, but really not very long. And I'm still unsure of if you're actually invisible like while you're like jumping and casting spells and stuff. I would assume you aren't. But I don't know. Anyway, it kind of reminds me of Slark because he can like activate his invisibility. Yeah. But whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, his basic is technically a passive, but it's like it's not even. It's like it's more like it's like Tusk's ultimate again, right? Where it's a altered basic attack. So his next basic attack does the damage, and it also slows, which I guess the slow and the damage by themselves they will scale with level. But if you really want to do more and more damage, you should get some ability power with it. But it's still pretty good whether you build ability power or not. But I really wonder. There doesn't seem to be a lot of like sneaky items that you can purchase. Like there's no blink dagger, there's no shadow blade, nothing like that. Like, you got these champions that have these kinds of abilities, but yeah, you can build cooldown reduction on them though, which is why I like that build I was going for because it gives him 10% CDR from the green enchantment. Of course, the red one would do that too, so that works. Of course, the ability power one gives you 20% CDR, so that's kind of nice. But and then also the mana restoring item that gives lifesteal, it gives 10% CDR as well. Now, bear all this in mind that I'm actually using my jump rune page, which means I have 50% CDR from that when I hit level 18. Alright, so yeah, where were we? Just talking way too much about his basic, I guess. Yeah, so sorry, it's hard for me to remember what some of these names are. And so taste your fear. Taste their fear. This kind of reminds me of the quote from Warden from Warcraft 3. I can taste their fear.
Sharpening my claws.
Okay, so this is a very interesting ability. First off, it's probably his best team fight ability, just because it gives you vision on where all the enemies are. It's crazy. Like, they have to be within this circle. Another champion on their team literally has to, or I'm sorry, I guess it's units in general. But if like they're walking in the jungle or something like that, then this will apply. Like if they're all grouped up, like they literally have to be like within each other's circles, or within a very large range of you. You will be able to detect them. Your whole team will see them, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just you. But even if it's just you, it's still pretty awesome because you can be following them around the enemy team, and your team can follow you around. I would like to know from some players, because most of the time, I guess I'm just playing jungle too much or whatever, but I hardly ever see any Kha'Zixes on my team. They tend to be on the opponent's team. But hopefully with this week I'll be able to figure that out and play some more like I guess the positions that Kha'Zix's unlikely to be in, like bottom lane I guess mostly. He's very unlikely to be down there, I'd imagine. He's probably going to be in the jungle. I've seen a guy play him in top lane actually. I don't know if that's good for him or not. Middle lane might be good. Bottom lane might be okay, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. Most people would probably suck at it. whatever. So, here's the thing. Like, technically, he could be a useful buddy for your carry at bottom lane because his second ability is crowd control. But we'll get to that later. We still haven't talked about all of what his first ability does. I mean, yeah, this champion's just really complicated, kind of like Aatrox, I guess. It's not very easy to get the hang of. So, first off, it's all about the physical damage for him. Okay, so he can upgrade it, or evolve his ability to deal extra damage with the ability when he activates it. And then he'll also be getting the increased range on the basic attacks and the active if he evolves it. So if he doesn't evolve it, he doesn't get any of that stuff. Which, like, honestly, a lot of people really think of Kha'Zix as being really strong and one-on-ones, and that's true. But it's mostly only the case if you evolve this ability. If you don't, then he's not going to be as strong in the one-on-ones. So yeah, keep that in mind. I guess that's about all we can mention about it. That's about all it does. So pretty nice though. I mean, it's great for scouting and stuff. It's kind of like a map pack, honestly. It's nice. Anyway, moving on. So second ability, Void Spike. Okay, so this ability, actually the tooltip does not describe it accurately. So, well, actually, I guess it's the in-game tooltip that is incorrect. It looks like this part is correct. So it's a skill shot. So you shoot it, you aim it, with your champion, he aims it. So when it hits an enemy unit, then it will explode, but it's a very small explosion, and it hits units, and it just gives him like a flat heal amount. The flat healing does scale on your ability power though, of course, and it increases per level. So, oh no, this is the second ability that scales on your ability power. It's not the third one. It's the basic and this one. That's right. So 50% of your ability power is done with the heal with this, and the cooldown is around 10 seconds or so. And of course, you can reduce it with cooldown reduction. So keep that in mind. Pretty nice. And of course, the damage itself scales with your attack damage and does physical damage. Now, that means that if you're building lifesteal or spell vamp, either way you can be benefiting and healing yourself up from this ability. So I tend to actually max this first and pick up my lifesteal right away, even before I upgrade my jungle item fully, because then I'm able to do dragon very safely, as well as just jungling in general. I just have so much more survival, and I max this ability first because it gives me so much more survival. Now leap is a really good one too, because it also gives me a lot of survival. But we're not done talking about this ability yet. So if you evolve it, it's great because, okay, not only does the ability already slow enemies, but if you evolve it, the slow is much more appreciable. It's a lot better for chasing in that regard. So if you are chasing enemy champs, you kind of gotta level this up. If you don't think you'll be chasing much, then don't worry about it, and I guess you can level up your ultimate. But generally speaking, I think this is going to be the way to go. But keep in mind, once again, if you are building ability power, one thing that's interesting is that your first ability, as well as your third, are only scaling on attack damage, and of course they're also only physical damage. Which means that you could choose to not upgrade one of those two. With that said, either one of them would be really useful for keeping your basic ability reactivated, I guess you would say. The first one would do that and letting you know where the enemy is, so that way it's easier to run away from them, obviously, so you don't run the wrong direction where another enemy is going to be, trying to intercept you or ambush you or whatever. So there's that. And then, well, I think we're done talking about the second ability for now, aren't we? No, there was one more thing I wanted to say, is that when you do evolve it, it goes in 3 different directions. So 3 different explosions. It still heals you for the same amount, but the great thing about it is it's more reliable. You need that heal. Sometimes you might miss if you aim your skill shot, right? But if you have three directions that it's going in, one straight ahead and one off a certain number of degrees to that left and the other certain number of degrees to the right, that's great, because then it's much more reliable that you're going to get a heal off. And of course it's nice for team fights. You can constantly slow the enemy team. So keep that in mind. It could be very, very useful to evolve it. So I like it. It's a really nice ability to max out and evolve first. I won't necessarily evolve it first every game probably, but pretty early, either first or second, you probably want to evolve this one. Anyways, moving on. Leap. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. He can evolve it, and if he does, he will boost it dramatically. First off, the range is going to be like doubled or something like that, so it's going to be really good. And then also, if you get a kill or an assist, so basically a takedown, one of the enemies dies while your attack did some damage to him, then you get to use the ability again. Its cooldown completely resets. So that is just really good. I love it. So yeah, you definitely want to evolve this at least second, I feel like, if you didn't evolve it first, just because it's just so darn good. But if you have to evolve it third, then so be it. By the time you evolve it third, it'll be like, oh man, yeah, I feel like Warcraft 3 level 10. Nah, you're not that strong, but it's still kind of fun. With that level 3 blink, it's actually cooldown in 1 second, and it doesn't even matter. You don't have to get kills or anything. That is way stronger than this. But this definitely makes me feel like I'm much more mobile than I would be otherwise. You can like spam your second and third abilities. Your void spike and your leap. Just like jump into position to slow somebody down. Maybe like hit him with taste your fear, use your ultimate to run away or whatever. And just like if the enemy kills the guy, then your leap is automatically resetted. All you had to do was void spike the guy to get the assist. I mean, it's pretty nice. So yeah, but if you don't evolve it, then it simply just does the regular jump, dealing the physical damage that scales with your attack damage, and that's about all there is to it. So, but it's still, since it's a mobility skill, it's still really nice, even if you don't level it up. I mean, evolve it, but I certainly would, sooner or later. Very, very nice ability. Like you can jump over walls relatively easy without it upgraded. You can jump over even farther with it upgraded. So, yeah, you probably don't want to upgrade it first, but second or third, sure. You don't want to leave it out. You can only upgrade 3 of the abilities, remember. So, yeah, it's a really good one. So his ultimate, kind of already talked about it. It does give him like I'm not sure how much movement speed. I think it increases with level. I think at the max it might be like 40%. It might be higher, I'm not sure. It's really high, whatever it is. So it's really, really nice. And yeah, there isn't much else to say about it. I already told you it gives invisibility. Oh, two abilities. You get it as a bonus when you learn your ultimate. So of course you level up your ultimate, right? It's 3 times, like, as opposed to your regular abilities, it's 5 times, right? So that's why it's 3 evolutions is all you get. It's because you can only level up your ultimate 3 times, right? So that's why. But yeah, pretty fancy champion. You know, obviously he's very interesting. Like I would be, I think it would be really cool if oh crap, you know, if Oracle could cast his ultimate on this guy, he'd well technically he would be using his basic ability with every single attack, wouldn't he? That'd be straight up broken. Because even without ability power, this is like uh, it does more damage than like a relatively well leveled up purple enchantment jungle item. So yeah, if Oracle from Dota 2 could cast his ultimate on this guy, he would be straight up broken, like no question about it. It would be hilarious. But, you know, of course you could technically counter him. Oh yeah, pink wards, sure, sure. Yeah, then Kha'Zix would carry around some pink wards and destroy them, wouldn't he? Anyways, whatever. Actually, no, yeah, pink wards are actually, you don't even need detection to destroy them in League of Legends now. That's pretty nice. But I mean, yeah, Oracle is not a thing in League of Legends, so you can all calm down. But anyways, let's move on to the next champion, shall we? Braum. So Braum is totally overpowered. Like, there's absolutely no question in my mind. He's way too good. What makes him way too good? Well, first of all, he scales off of basically everything. Like the only thing he doesn't really scale on, I guess, which technically every champion scales on anyway, is like attack damage. That's pretty much it. Like, so I mean, you could still give him attack damage and it still increases his damage. It's just not exactly anything that synergizes with his abilities, I guess, is the point. I don't think he has anything that increases his attack range unless you count his jump, which doesn't even jump to enemies. So, you know, whatever. Anyways, let's check this out. So, what's his basic first of all? His basic is probably his best ability because his basic is really freaking good. It's basically a bash. So it's a stun, you know, it's like the Mountain King from Warcraft 3's bash, pretty much. Or like the Skull Basher from Dota, or Dota 2. Now, this is not based on percentages, though. It's based on how many times you've attacked them. So you attack them 4 times and they're stunned. And he can actually, he benefits really well from attack speed allies, in that, you know, if once Braum hits him once, or twice or whatever, his ally can hit him a few times and stun him. So if his ally's attacking faster than him, then his ally can proc the stun and proc the bash. So that's really helpful. And Pension of Troll Warlord had that passive. Holy cow, he'd be overpowered. Anyways, I got a message, but I'm just probably should ignore it. So, now this is going to deal magic damage after this stun, and then it's like debuffs them for like 8 seconds or something like that. And after the debuff's over, then you can stun them again. So it's actually got a really lengthy cooldown. But I mean, this is an ability you don't have to put points into. So it's well worth it. And plus, it's dealing magic damage with every single hit after they've been stunned. Of course, they do get the bonus magic damage also on the hit with the stun. So keep that in mind. So it's like it's a certain amount on the stun, and then it's a much lower amount. Like I want to say maybe a fourth of the damage or something like that for every hit afterwards during that 8 seconds or so. So that's a long time to be debuffed, really. Which, as you can imagine, makes this guy scale really well with attack speed, and is why, you know, I feel like he's totally legit as a jungler. Of course, you wouldn't classify him as a support at that point. You would classify him as a fighter. But that's fine. So moving on, and I'll try to make this a little bit quick because it looks like somebody wants to get my attention here. But yeah, ability and ability power won't help with that, so only attack speed will, so keep that in mind. Things like Wits End though will help too, so I get that on like Warwick for example. It's nice. Anyways, moving on. So the first ability he can learn, he basically makes his shield shoot out some ice or whatever. So this is pretty cool because it deals some magic damage and slows the enemy. Now the interesting thing is you might expect it to scale with ability power. Well, your expectation would be wrong as far as damage is concerned. I mean, it actually scales off of his health. So the higher his health is, the more damage this will do. So that's pretty nice. What else? Of course, the damage scales per level. I'm not sure if the slow does or not. But one interesting neat thing about this is it adds a stack of concussive blows. So it can accelerate the stun, basically. So from instead of it requiring 4 hits to stun somebody, it only requires 3. I'm not sure if it has other implications, like maybe it does some magic damage after they've been stunned. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but it's still nice. Let's see, especially since you could just like throw this at a pretty decent range, and then you know your ally and your enemy are there, and you hit the enemy with it, then your ally can just hit them 3 times and they'll be stunned. You don't even have to endanger yourself. So think of it that way. Get the stun started. So that's nice. Anyways, moving on. So his second ability is his jump. So he jumps to allies only. So kind of like Phantom Assassin's Blink or Ricky's Backstab, where in this case he can't jump to enemies. Now this is pretty cool because it scales off of both his armor and his magic resist. Now he will give himself and his ally bonus armor and magic resist for a few seconds, which is pretty nice. So it's a really cool ability because it gives him some mobility and it gives a lot of durability to him and his ally, and so it's just really great. You can jump around. It just makes him really strong, I feel like. Yeah, it makes everybody a tank pretty much. Anyways, moving on. So his third ability also does not do damage. His last one, in case you weren't sure. This is very cool though because it blocks projectiles completely. You know, you it's a casted ability. I mean, you cast it in a certain direction, so and then you face that direction, and that's the direction your shield is facing. And then you can just walk around while facing that same direction. You can walk in any direction, but you'll still be facing the direction you casted this ability in. So that's really nice. That allows you to continuously block projectiles coming from a certain direction. And then the regular attacks, like I guess ranged later on, will be reduced. It's like significant amounts, and I guess it scales with maybe your armor or whatever. So it's pretty cool. I don't know all the details because I've only played them twice, but whatever, it's nice. Anyways, moving on. His ultimate is his only ability that scales with ability power. So this does a lot of damage, and I'm really not sure what else it does, but it appears to slow the enemies. So you can kind of think of it as like an instant Elder Titan ultimate. Like his has a delay, right? Well, Braum's does not. Of course, unfortunately, it doesn't scale with the health of the opponents. If it did, I guess that would be broken, but it's still really strong, I feel like, and I like it. It's cool. Of course, the range isn't as great as the Elder Titan's ultimate either, but the width is about the same, I should say, and so it's pretty handy to have. Not much else to say about it. I don't think that there is anything else important. Oh, it does actually initially knock the enemies up, so there's that part of it disable, so that's very handy to have. And I'm not sure if it causes temporary terrain changes or not, but I don't think it does. It's just kind of graphical fissure, slowing them down. but really fun champ. Really strong. People generally play him in bottom lane because of his shield. Just makes him stupidly overpowered. When you're trying to kill like his buddy, lane partner, or even him, is just really strong. I would say he does have weaknesses though, like he's weak against maybe like Ezreal for example, or Ezreal, depending on whatever you want to call him, and other champions that are just very mobile and just work around his shield pretty much. And I'm not too sure what kinds of stuff his shield doesn't protect you against or isn't effective against, since I'm not too familiar with how it scales and stuff because I didn't only played him a couple of times. But he still seems like a really strong champion, especially since his first skill scales on his health for damage. That is just a really valuable skill. So I generally max this one first. I'd say it's his best one. Even if you don't necessarily buy some health early, you could still have like my jump rune page for him would be nice, just because it gives him some health, some extra health per level. So that's nice. Anyways, that's about all for this episode, it looks like. Hope you guys enjoyed it, episode 16. Tomorrow, I think I am going to talk about Bard, the new champion, because he looks like fun. Of course, I probably won't get the chance to play him for a while. I'm going to wait until he's free to play. Even then, probably it's going to be a race to pick him, so whatever. Anyways, talk to you guys later.